Morning, just in Ashford at a travel lodge, about to go set off and get the tunnel to Normandy, where we're going to be spending a couple of days looking at the D-Day beaches and all the World War II memorabilia.
First stop in France, Boulogne-sur-Mer for baguette and cake.
I have a great uncle buried here. He died in the First World War, the First Battle of Passchendaele. He managed to make it to the hospital and was evacuated, but unfortunately died, and he's buried here.
After a long journey, we arrived in a sleepy little Normandy town and we were all hungry, so we decided it was time for dinner. What have you accidentally ordered?
Oysters. Have I ever had them before? No.
What did you think of your first one?
Not as bad as I thought. Very, very salty.
Wouldn't have them again though.
Probably, I might have them cooked with something else. It's got chilli powder on them. And I've done it, you just suck it out the shell.
You chew, no?
No, just suck and swallow.
Under pressure. Is it going to go on its own, or have we got to
Yeah,
suck
it should do.
Ooh, I do like them. Yeah, nice.
First time, oyster virgins. No more. What's that muck you're eating?
Got out of the garden earlier.
He made this look so easy. So we've just been for a meal behind us. There we go. Quite reasonable. Le Trot. 3 courses for €30. We've got Dan's mum and stepdad with us, and it worked out at £60 each per couple.
Yeah. With the tip, that was.
With the tip and drinks. So very reasonable. Dan will insert some pictures. It was very, very nice. Tomorrow we actually start our
Sightseeing.
sightseeing. So it's very dark.
I was trying to stay in the frame. But can't see us anymore. Anyway,
No. All right.
see you in the morning.
See you in the morning. Night.
Good morning. I did just get up to... There was a beautiful sunrise, but by the time I've walked down the road, it's gone misty. I was going to get some nice photos of it. But I thought, might as well show you the place we're staying at while we're here. So this is it. In this sleepy little... I wouldn't even call it a village. It's just a few houses in the middle of nowhere. There's a town about 3 kilometres away. That's tiny as well. That's where we went for tea last night. We've got all this to ourselves. It's a nice Airbnb. It's a lovely old barn conversion. I think that was the original house from what he was telling us, where they used to live. And then this bit was a barn that they've converted. A lovely big sitting area. On. And then we've got the outdoor area. Morning.
Morning. Miles away there.
American landing beach, this Utah beach. Let's go have a look.
There's quite a lot of German memorabilia in this part of the museum, and these boots are probably the most disturbing I've seen. They weighed £3 each and were given to certain categories of soldiers, such as sentinels on the Russian front. They're made with felt that was often consisted of human hair taken from the millions of Jews murdered in concentration camps, so places like Auschwitz. German soldiers had these on their feet. An old gun on there, and then the anti-tanks. And the beach is just down there.
That would have been like the bunker on the edge of the flooded land. The monument to Dick Winters. Anyone seen Band of Brothers? This is Damian Lewis's character.
This is Sainte-Mère Église.
Okay, we're in Sainte-Mère Église. This is where the airborne, the 101st Airborne, there's 2 airborne divisions, they parachuted in here before D-Day to take the town, and then they were to make their way over to the beaches to support the D-Day landing. Lots of them landed in people's gardens and things. One landed on the church up there. They've left a little dummy with a parachute on hanging off.
I'll get some footage of that later.
He had to pretend that he was dead so the Germans didn't shoot at him. Yeah, there's an airborne museum we're going to check out in a minute. I think that's about it. Next year is the 80th anniversary of the D-Day landing, so it looks like they're setting up something big for that.
The other airborne was the 82nd Airborne. The 101st is the Band of Brothers company, music company.
Yeah. So now we're going to go, we've just had lunch and it started raining because we're British and we brought the weather with us. It's supposed to be the hottest day so far, but...
Not here.
Yeah, so... yeah, we're going to go look at the Airborne Museum now.
It's a US Sherman tank. We're inside now, so I'm not getting wet. Oh, Dan nearly taking his sunglasses off his head.
Alright.
Yeah, oh, it's small. Even I can't stand up and I'm short. Is this a glider then?
I think so, yeah.
I think Dan did a video of the property this morning, but the grass was wet so we didn't go on it. So this is the rest of the garden. Apple tree. We've been told to help ourselves to the apples because they don't use them. Morning. Been to the garage to get the tyre sorted. We can go back and get that fitted later on. Very helpful. We are now at... Where are we at? Where?
Arromanches, Port Winston.
And this is...
I think it's Gold Beach, that's one. So I can find out in a minute. I'm not sure. We've had to swap the days around, so because we were supposed to be going to Point du Hoc this morning, but they can't fit the tyre in until 11:30, so we've had to swap it round. So I think we're at Gold Beach. Yeah, we are.
We're at Gold Beach.
This is Gold Beach. Yeah.
So this was the British landing for D-Days. D-Days? D-Day?
D-Day. Yeah, at Gold Beach. see, that's what we sank on purpose.
What's that?
The tide goes out, you can go through that.
I know. We are in the Museum de Embarquement, so it's the embarkment of the D-Day landings. We went to a museum yesterday at Utah Beach, and we did a airborne museum as well yesterday, and all the museums have actually been excellent and really good value for money. So definitely worth doing. They've been under €10 each, the museums.
Yeah, this was the most expensive one so far. This was, I think it was €21 for both of us. Oh no, €25 for both of us. It was this one, so it must be 12.50, something like that.
But all three have been really, really good value for money. The ones yesterday were excellent.
This one's got a good audio guide as well.
Yeah, which comes free with your entrance. But yeah, really good so far. So definitely worth doing if you're in the area. So this is a Victoria Cross for Stanley Hollis, and apparently it's the only Victoria Cross issued on D-Day. There's a lot of reflection off the glass, unfortunately. So this is what it would have looked like outside ahead of us.
Interessante.
Second stop of the day, Battery de Merville. We've been to have the tide on, so we've kind of mixed a day up. And this is a old Nazi fortification, and we're going to have a proper look inside. We've just been into a sound and light show in one of the batteries. 700 British men were sent to come and take control of this battery. Only 150 made it here, and then only 75 men made it onto the radar station that was the next target. And there was 120 Germans defending it, and only 25 of them survived. On June 7th, 1944, the soldiers of the M3 Commando fought on this site. That's the memorial of the 9th Battalion, the Parachute Regiment and the supporting arms of the Royal Navy, Army and the Royal Air Force, who captured this battery at 500 hours on the 6th of June 1944, thus preventing the garrison from firing on the assault beaches. And a lot of the soldiers' bodies still lie here. They've never been recovered. We're now at Pegasus Bridge. I haven't read anything about it yet, so I can't really tell you what it's about. What was special about this place?
I don't know the full story. I just know that they had to take the bridge because it was the main way of getting the tanks from Sword Beach.
So basically this little board informs us that the capture of this bridge started the
Battle of Normandy.
Yeah, the Battle of Normandy.
This good?
Oh. The cafe over there was the first house to be liberated by the Allied forces on on the D-Day landings. Yeah. We have a picture of it when it's been landed. I mean, they were very lucky because there's a pond over there. I'm not sure if that was here in 1944, and a canal over there. I think this is where the picture of the glider I've just shown you, this is where this landed. And as you can see, there's a bust to commemorate Major John Howard, and then a plaque to commemorate the Horsa glider of Major R.J. Howard, Oxfordshire and Buckinghamshire Light Infantry, who commanded the operation to capture the bridge, landed on this spot together with Lieutenant H.D. Brotheridge and 28 soldiers at 0016 hours on 6th of June 1944. The pilots were Staff Sergeants Walwork and Ainsworth.
Just by the car park in the museum is the original Pegasus Bridge.
And this is Sword Beach, the second of the British landing beaches. Yeah, they've not put anything much on Sword Beach.
You can see the vastness of it there.
Yeah. There's no... This is a German anti-tank gun, manufactured in Dusseldorf in 1942. A range of 7,100 yards. 6.5 kilometres. You can see the damage that was done to it. So this is Juno Beach. quite touristy. The past couple of beaches we've been to have been very much seaside towns. So the other side of the harbour to the seasidey bit is this beach, which must be the other part of Juno Beach. It's a bit more serene. What does the plaque say, Dan?
Cozy's bunker. This bunker was stormed and taken by Lieutenant Cozy Atkins and 10 platoon of B Company, the Royal Winnipeg Rifles, on June the 6th, 1944. B Company suffered 78% casualties assaulting Mike Green Beach.
Okay, so this is the French Resistance Memorial, because that's the French Resistance flag. And on the 14th of June, this is the site that Charles de Gaulle landed. It looks out over the beach. So we're now at the British Normandy Memorial. I think this is going to be the last stop of the day before we start losing the light. So this is the D-Day landing memorial. And on the columns going round, there's the name of every person that lost their life on the landings in chronological order. And there's a fair few columns. This is just one section, and everyone's got a name. So on the top of that big stone it says, "To us is given the honour of striking a blow for freedom, which will live in history, and in the better days that lie ahead, men will speak with pride of our doings." And then it says, "Here are remembered with everlasting gratitude the soldiers, sailors and airmen from the United Kingdom and those of other nations serving under British command, who lost their lives in the D-Day landings of 6th of June 1944 and in the subsequent Battle of Normandy, which culminated in the crossing of the River Seine and the liberation of Paris. In the closing days of August 1944, they died so that Europe might be free." All the names, and one lonely war correspondent. Morning, starting our day off at a German cemetery today. We had quite a long day yesterday. Finished off at the Normandy British Memorial, and now we are at the German cemetery at Le Cam. It was an American cemetery until 1947, and the remains were exhumed and shipped back to the United States. And it's been a German cemetery until 1948. This is not the first German cemetery Dan and I have been to. We've been to one in Ypres area. Very, very similar with the crosses. I think they're all standardly laid out, but they've all got these little granite crosses, and they've got the names of the people buried here. There's normally one or two names on a plaque. The name at the top of this one was an 18-year-old lad, and the one at the bottom is just a Dutch soldier that obviously they don't know his name. I did say earlier that the crosses were granite, but I think they're basalt, as with the big cross on top of the mound. Second stop of the day is Maisie Battery. Seems very different to the one we went to yesterday, a lot less commercialised, would you say?
Yeah, looks like they've got trenches and tunnels and cannons and stuff. Looks a bit more like they've left it as it was by the looks of it, not done nothing with it. Let's go have a look.
So when we were at Utah Beach on the first day, they had a restored one of these, and this has been left to its own devices, and as you can see there's very little to it. It's made of wood, and the poor boys had to get on this. For the landing vessels. It's a Higgins boat. So Maisie Battery for 3 days. The position here, they opened fire on the landing troops on the sectors of Omaha and Utah on D-Day. It wasn't silenced until a ground assault on the 9th of June 1944. There's over 2 kilometres of trenches that have been restored and opened. At the end of the hostilities, the battery was buried and returned to farmland, and it wasn't rediscovered until 2006 by Gary Stern, and they're still uncovering and restoring more of the site, and they eventually want to open the complete complex. The aim is to maintain the complex in its original form, damage and all. So you see the buildings now just as the US Army left them 75 years ago. Great.
Walt, who goes there?
So third stop of the day is Pont d'Arc. It was another German fortified area. So at Pont d'Arc, in the early morning June the 6th, 225 men of the 2nd Ranger Battalion began their assault. The plan was to destroy the guns that were fortified up here, but on arrival they'd already been destroyed by the Germans. American military cemetery that overlooks Omaha Beach, which is down there. 2 masts with the American flag on, and the graves. Unfortunately, it looks like you can't walk in between the gravestones to find who's buried here. It's the only cemetery we've been to military wise where you can't do that.
We've just been to the Overlord Museum. It's just up from Omaha Beach, a few minutes, and it's been collated by a guy that was a teenager. He's died now, but he was a teenager during the war. And it's all like tanks, and well, there's lots of tanks and armoured vehicles and replica, and there's uniforms from the Nazis and everything inside there, with the full story, right from the beginning of the war right through to the liberation of France. It's quite interesting. What was it, about
$9.50 each.
$9.50 each to get in. Probably about the best museum from reading reviews around the Omaha beach. The beach itself is just one big beach, wasn't it?
Yeah, there wasn't much there. There wasn't even much food or anything there.
Yeah, so there was a lot more at the first one we went, Utah Beach, than there is at this Omaha Beach, even though the beach is like 3 times the size. So yeah, they've got some tanks and things outside. It's worth spending. We spent about an hour and a half there.
Yeah, definitely worth doing.
Yeah.
And it's just across the road from the American Military Cemetery.
Yeah.
Which we were a little disappointed in, weren't we?
Yeah. You couldn't walk amongst the graves and have a look who was actually buried there.
Because this morning I'd taken some pictures of soldiers that we'd seen that were buried there at the German cemetery, and I wanted to go and find the graves, and you can't do it at all. It's all fenced off. You have to request to go and see family graves. So that was a little disappointing.
I don't know. We don't know if that's just because they were like doing all the groundworks and everything.
Yeah.
So we're not sure. They were mowing the lawns and everything, so maybe it's because of that. But
yeah,
it looked like it was a permanent roped off area. So
yeah. So I wanted to find certain graves that I'd read about this morning, which would have been nice to go and pay my respects at, but we weren't allowed. So, yeah.
Talking of mowers, there's one going off now.
Well,
so.
Everywhere we've been, there's been mowers all week.
Yeah, we're nearly at the end of the day now, so we might just get one more thing in on the way back.
Yeah, and that's
Omaha done.
Omaha. That's all 5
Beaches.
All 5 beaches done.
Right.
Bye. Last stop of the day, Bayeux War Cemetery. We've been to quite a few Commonwealth War cemeteries when we were over in Belgium. Each one has this stone in it and the cross that you can see behind. So each one has the cross and the stone. These are symbolic to all Commonwealth War cemeteries. The stone says their name liveth forevermore. Each headstone's same size. It has the name of the person that's died, the regiment that they were in, their age, and if the family wanted some form of epitaph. And this one says, "And he shall be as the light of the morning." And it's Lieutenant HDP Mitchin, and he was the King's Own Scottish Borders, and he died on the 1st of July 1944, aged 21. The next one along just states a soldier of the war, 1939 to 1945, and the epitaph reads, "Unknown unto God." It says unknown soldier, and each unknown soldier has this on their headstone, and then they have the name on a memorial. and this one states a sailor of the war, Royal Navy, known unto God. Each Commonwealth cemetery has a cemetery register, and at the top it says, "The land on which this cemetery stands is the gift of the French people for the perpetual resting place of the sailors and soldiers and airmen who were honoured here." So I found a couple of headstones that are different to the others, and these turned out to be Polish forces. They've got more of a domed top than the square, and the other
Check there with the lions on.
yeah, they're different again.
Soviet forces there with the stars.
Oh yeah. These are the Soviet ones with the stars, and they've got the steps in the side. And this is the Czech one. I mean, they're all still made of the same stone, and they're all the same height, with just a different. This is an Italian one. There's a double one over here.
It's the Florence one with a lamp.
All the boys here are from Staffordshire. You've got the South Staffordshire Regiment and the North Staffordshire Regiment.
Well, not all the boys, there's some Norfolks as well.
There's a north. This is the South Staffs one. That's the South Staffordshire, and that's the North Staffordshire Regiment. It's the same regiment as my great uncle was in, that we saw the very beginning of this trip further up the coast, and that was the First World War. So this is the grave of Sidney Bates, and he was awarded the Victoria Cross, and he died on the 8th of August 1944, aged 23. So the memorial across the road commemorates 1,800 unknown soldiers that lost their lives during the Normandy campaign. So any unknown soldier, they'll be listed, their names will be listed over there. Shops.
Hello. This is Bayer this morning. We're in a chill day. Just going to see the tapestry and the cathedral, which is a UNESCO heritage site. And then just mosey around town. Looks pretty.
I see a chocolate shop. Aim today is to get some mussels and some more cake before we leave.
I've got mussels.
Cheese.
Afternoon. We went to the Bayer Tapestry first. It was a good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Massive. Very interesting. They give you a little audio guide. Explains every panel of the tapestry as you're walking along it. It's a little bit fast, the audio guide, isn't it? But
Yeah, it needs to be a little bit slower.
yeah, you do get all the information on all the panels, so that's good. There's a little museum as well upstairs. You couldn't film any of it. Then we went to the cathedral, which was It's like any other big cathedral in Europe, really,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Went for lunch. That had
Mulfrit Normand.
more fruit.
Rolls in a creamy, garlicky mushroom sauce. Very nice.
I had croque monsieur. So we had a proper French lunch. And then we just called in and got some eclairs and a bit of quiche
And
for
the
tea.
baguette.
And a baguette.
The tea and some quiche.
That's it. So it's just started raining a bit. We're going to polish off the afternoon, go over to Long-sur-Mer, have a look at this big gun that's still left in the casement. So that's where we're heading now. See you there.
See you in a bit. So we're now at Long-sur-Mer. Aramanche is down there, which is Gold Beach in the distance, and this would have been the German battery that had been firing at the troops on D-Day. This site's free to get into. Parking's free.
Oh, hang about, is it? Yeah. This is taking a hit. That's part of the barrel there. And that's part of the barrel. Oh, what?
So these are all part of the Atlantic Wall that the Germans built. A guy was saying earlier that these are Navy guns, not your bog standard howitzers. They're designed to shoot down ships, so they're from Navy ships. They're certainly an impressive piece of kit. I'd have been no good.
What can you see, Nat?
Nothing.
Face the wall, Nat.
That's the holiday all done, dusted. Just on our way back. We set off at 8 o'clock this morning. It's 4:30 now. We should be home in a couple of hours. Crossed over, no problems on the tunnel and everything. So yeah, can you see you?
Yeah, you can see me.
What's your highlights?
Utah Beach.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed Utah Beach, and I really liked Long-sur-Mer yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say Long-sur-Mer, Utah Beach, and the museum at Gold for me.
Yeah.
That was a really good museum.
And I really enjoyed Maisie Battery as well.
Yeah.
So
So much so that she's reading a book she bought. So yeah. So you've been saying it's interesting, haven't you?
Yeah, very interesting. So yeah, but nowhere's been really disappointing. I know we said we were disappointed in the military cemetery. It wasn't disappointing
Yeah.
in itself. It was just the fact that we couldn't go to the graves.
There wasn't much at a couple of the beaches either, was there?
No, Omaha.
Sword wasn't much, was there?
No.
So yeah, Utah Beach. I think we went there first, and there was a lot there. So I thought, oh, there's going to be like this at every beach, and it wasn't. It was just a lot at Utah. There wasn't so much at Omaha either, was there? But there was the Overlord Museum, which was just further back by the cemetery.
Yeah.
So there is something by every beach, but there's more at others. So yeah.
Definitely worth going over for.
Yeah, definitely recommend. Long drive, might be a quicker way to get in there. Maybe the ferry to like Isil Harbour or something.
Yeah.
So maybe in the future, if we did it again, perhaps look at that one. But yeah, that's all. Thank you very much. Catch you on the next one.
Bye.